Hello, hello. Before we kind of get started today, I just want to apologize if you happen to hear any snow blowing. We have had snow and that's happening, and I have no control over that. So, anyways, welcome back to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast for Mastering Skills to Navigate Leadership in Life, episode 7. If by chance you haven't rated and reviewed my podcast yet, I would really appreciate it if you would so that it makes it discoverable for others out there. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce Jeff Holland, an experienced leader and nuclear professional. Jeff has a Bachelor of Commerce from Carleton University and is a CPA from the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. Jeff currently serves as the Director of Financial Planning and Analysis for Bruce Power and is on rotation as their Director of Work Management at the Bruce B Nuclear Station. Bruce Power is an Ontario-based nuclear generating station. It provides power to a third of homes, hospitals, schools, and businesses throughout our province. And it supplies medical isotopes across the globe to keep medical equipment sterilized and assist in fighting disease. Jeff has demonstrated his ability as a communicator and a mentor who can successfully engage executives and key stakeholders with initiatives designed to add value to business operations while increasing revenue opportunities through cost-effectiveness methods. His leadership skills have enabled him to bridge cross-functional differences amongst leaders so that together they can find success in meeting company objectives. In addition, Jeff has recently begun speaking to leaders, professionals, and business students about how important it is to get up and take action if they want to unlock success. On top of being successful professionally, he also finds times for family life. He is a husband, a father of 3, including twins, former colleague, client, and a friend of mine. I am excited to share this interview with you. So let's dive in. Hello, hello. Jeff, it is so good to see you once again. Thank you so much for agreeing to be the very first guest on the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast.
Well, hi, Cynthia, and or should I say, Coach? Really good to see you as well, and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest. I've listened to your first 6 episodes, and I'm excited to be lucky number 7, but number 1 guest. It's great.
I couldn't think of anybody actually better to have on the podcast than you. So that's why I reached out back even before we got into it, just deciding to do it. I was just like, I know someone who would be just fantastic at this. And so if you could, for the audience, just kind of introduce yourself and let people know what it is you want them to know about your career journey.
Oh, fantastic. Well, first of all, thanks for the kind words. I don't know if it's just because I yammer on or what have you, but I'm excited to be here and share with your audience. So I am a CPA by trade, so an accountant, a finance professional. And my journey really started in my mid-20s when I moved over to Bruce Power, which is the largest nuclear facility in the world. And I moved there as a finance professional at the analyst capacity. And I started out in the corporate world, which was a great way to get my bases of how the business works from a financial perspective. Good old fashioned debits and credits, that kind of thing.
I love it.
But in 2012, I actually moved over to one of our nuclear stations, once again as an analyst. So it was a lateral move. But within weeks, I found what I call my passion for the business. And it was really around partnering with people out in the station, whether it be, operators, maintainers, first line managers, and helping them solve business problems from a finance perspective. And then ultimately from a generic, how do we become more efficient, save money, or make more money, or hopefully all 3. And what was so cool about that was what I find is once you find your passion, your career takes off with it. And so I was quickly promoted to controller of the plant. And once again, a leader in my first stint as a leader in the finance profession. And once again, when you're passionate about things, the next promotion came rather quickly. which was fantastic, exciting. Became the director of financial planning and analysis for the whole site, reporting right into our CFO. So it was quite a, I won't say roller coaster. It was a sort of a whirlwind ascent to a really exciting, almost dream position, but at a relatively young point in my career. And that's where I met Cynthia. That's where I met my coach, because as excited as I was still green. And I knew that I needed some help along the way to find myself and find my voice and my influence. Um, so now, since then, just to continue on the career journey while we're speaking of it, I've really taking that passion for the business to a new level. And I'm actually on what I call a journey from finance leader to nuclear professional and leader. And
Mm,
so I'm taking on roles way outside of my comfort zone, right in the station, in the nuclear station, outside of the finance realm, which is another really cool way to stretch myself and test myself.
I love that so much. And I know that for you, stretching yourself is something that has always been important to you,
That's right.
right?
Yeah,
And
I find once again, I've always wanted to be a leader, and finance was my instrument, was my tool to get there. But it wasn't the be all end all. The be all end all was to be an influential leader in the business, and so I'm so
mm,
fortunate to have opportunities to try new things, lead new teams, and bring my value, which is around inspiring people and bringing people together, and always still built on that foundation of being a CPA. So it's
I love
exciting.
that. I love that. And I think a connection that I make just for the first time here is it's almost as though the CPA was the what and the leadership and the people skills are the how.
Yeah, and the why, really.
Yeah, and the why.
Yeah,
Well, and coming and
yeah,
bringing in that passion piece, right? So
that's
when
right.
when you when you think about, you now where you are currently, and you think about your journey when you look back on it, what do you think would have been really useful for you to have known as someone just taking up this leadership role for the first time?
So it really comes down to, it's an acronym actually. And I wish I had known this earlier, but my acronym that I use now with people that are new leaders or professionals trying to make an influence in their business is to get up.
To
Get
get
up.
up,
And it's literally because oftentimes leaders are promoted because of their technical prowess, right? You're a great financial analyst, so you should be a manager. You're a great engineer, so you should be the engineering manager. You're a great operator, you need to be the operations manager, so on and so forth. Which is, once again, awesome foundation. But leadership is a heck of a lot more than just the technical ability. And so I say you've got to get up, and I'm being literal, get up from your desk as a leader
hmm
and engage with folks. But the G is the first one. It's go for it. And what I mean by that is it takes courage to get up and get out into the field, right? So you have to make that commitment to go for it. The E is then engage. Because I can say, oh, I went for it, right? I got up and I went for a walk around the nuclear plant. I didn't talk to anyone. I just came back to my desk. Well, that doesn't work. So you've got to engage and show a genuine interest in whether, as a leader, it's the people you're leading or your peers or even your stakeholders, right? So you've got to get that engagement and find out what makes others tick.
I love
Then
that.
the T is trust. So now you're getting up, you're getting out there, you're engaging with folks, and guess what comes next? You start to build trust with people. And whether you're a finance professional or a leader in another capacity, as you start to build trust, then you start to have the dialogue that can start to really move mountains in a business, right? In a complex business. So
hmm
that's the T. The U is one of my favorites because this is one a Jeff lesson learned the hard way, and the U is understand. And I got to go into this because I think our your listeners will love it. So, understand is the U. right? You can get out there, you can engage, you can talk to people, you can earn their trust. But if you don't actually understand one, what makes them tick, what motivates them, but also the business that you're supporting or leading, from
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a technical perspective, you can blow that trust right back to square one, and you'll have to start over or never earn it back. So my real world example, as I mentioned, in around 2012, I went into the capacity of financial analyst in the plant, and I had a meeting with the maintenance team, and one of the things that one of the managers asked me to look at was the RVs. And so, as I walked into the plant the first few times, I noticed we had a bunch of trailers, sitting around the station. I guess it was for overflow, meeting rooms capacity. So there's
Mm-hmm.
trailers there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm this bright CPA, right? I'm going to go show these guys how smart I am and really impress them. And so I rolled in with a great analysis, right? I had, my financial model, my PowerPoint. I roll in, and I pull this out and I start, showing them, guys, if we just use our square footage more reasonably, if you look at the model, it's showing X plus Y equals Z, this kind of stuff. If we do this, we can save $25,000 in rental fee by just getting rid of 2 trailers. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance manager, this is a true story. He got up and he said, "You got a lot to learn, kid." And he walked away. And one of his guys, I'm like, "What happened?" One of his guys goes, "Dude, an RV is a relief valve, not a recreational vehicle."
Oh my gosh.
You've got to understand the business. Like, oh, great. So all the trust and engagement in the world, was gone. I had to start over with that maintenance manager. Now they had fun with it, of course, but you got to understand, right? And
Well, and
then
you
P,
bring up an you
yeah,
bring up an interesting thing there, which just from a listener perspective is just so many businesses use acronyms. And when bringing new
that's right.
people in, like if you're a new leader to a new organization or you're bringing in new people, not everybody knows. Not everybody knows. So I really appreciate the story. There's huge relevance to that because people face it every day. And now I'll invite you to go back to tell me the rest of your
No,
your piece.
absolutely. And that's where the understand comes in. Cynthia, just before we get to the P, I'll keep everyone in suspense. But in our coaching, you often recommended reading material for me, right? And we both know I like audiobooks. But anyway, you've recommended lots of books, and some of them were fantastic. One that is really important for new leaders is the first 90 days, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and what I did was I went in guns ablaze and trying to impress these people so much that I skipped some of the steps in the first 90 days in the get up model, right? I didn't seek to understand enough, and I just tried to show them how smart I was, and it totally backfired, right? So anyway, there's a book for you, Cynthia. I'm learning.
I recommend it often. There are people
There
reading
you
it in
go.
this moment.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, it works. It gives you some perspective. Now, the P is partnership.
Mm.
You need to, as a leader, like, oftentimes the trap you fall into, especially as a new leader, and sometimes, it'll stick with you for far too long through your leadership journey. You have to think of yourself as a partner. You're still a partner with the people that report to you, and you're a partner with your peers across the businesses that you support. Or if you're in sales, you're a partner with your clients too, right? And so as you go out, right, you engage with people, you earn their trust and you understand it. Really, then you've got to go in with a partnership mindset, because at the end of the day, especially the way global businesses are now, and they're all matrixed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think of it, if you don't go in with a partnership mindset, it's very difficult to influence and get things done.
I love that, and I would be curious to hear from you, Jeff. When you think about, we talk often about skills and like hard skills, soft skills. From your experience, what do you think are the top, let's say, three soft skills that help you with this get up model that you
So,
have?
no, that's a great point. Soft skills, the first one is really, you need to know your weaknesses for sure, But the cool thing about being a leader is you can surround yourself with people that can plug your holes. So don't get obsessed with your weaknesses. Acknowledge them, brush up on them if you can, but surround yourself with folks that can complement you and focus on your strengths. I think that's a
Mm,
really key is focus on your strengths. And that's once again where you'll find your passion and where people will see you at your best. So that's kind of the first soft-ish skill, if that qualifies, is to really acknowledge your weaknesses, plug the gaps with tools or people, and focus in on your strengths and what makes you so great, and acknowledge what got you here in the first place.
mm,
The second soft skill is really around. I'm going to go back to the partnership concept, but oftentimes it's very overwhelming when you become a new leader. You feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, and somebody somewhere saw something in you, so you feel like you owe them something, and you want to impress, you want to impress, you want to impress, and that's where you just need to take a breath and really develop the partnerships with your peers, with your team, and think of it as we're all in this together. Just because you're at the lead, you're not going to accomplish your goals without bringing people along for the ride with you.
mm. I love that. I
and
love that.
and then the third soft skill, Cynthia, is one that I always come back to, and it's a Simon Sinek or Simon. It start with why. Really, people respond so well to when they understand why you're asking them to do something, or why you're taking your business unit in a certain direction. If you just tell them we're going to do it, they may follow you because they have to. But if you get them rallied around the why, they're going to take you along for the ride, and it makes life really easy. And this is once again, those are lessons that learn the hard way, right? It's a
Yeah.
lot easier to lead when you have your team on your side, because even if folks aren't 100% aligned with your why, they respect it because you're transparent.
Well, and I think what you're bringing up now is another key skill in, when you think about, well, and I know the work that you have done just around getting clear on your style, your approach, who you are as a leader, that transparency piece is really, I mean, I've seen it for decades, right? So when people are able to be vulnerable and share why it's important that someone does something that you're about to ask them to do, and it really does go, I want to say it goes more than the extra mile, because it builds that engagement and that empowerment and that buy-in from them that are following you. And as leaders, I mean, I've observed you take people to places and spaces they would not have gone otherwise, because of just how you lead and how you show up and be honest about who you are and what you can do and what you can't do.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and really, it's all about being genuine, right? At the end of the day, you have to be who you are.
Yeah.
In a more, I guess I would say I'm a little bit more of a professional version of me at work, but I'm still me, right? And I think that was one thing in your intake form, that I was very, really, you know, dedicated to was, yeah, now I'm a leader, but I want to be me as a leader. And that was like a revelation that I didn't really know until I put it on paper, if that makes any sense, right?
Yes,
Until I
it
went through
makes
the
yeah,
exercise.
it makes incredible sense. And I think the context that it would give is, unless we have someone along the way to guide us, mentor us, show us, teach us, that leadership is really about coming into your own, being comfortable in your own skin, saying what you need to say in the way that you need to say it. Like that's really what leadership is. But nobody tells us that. We
Exactly.
kind of learn it the hard way, right? Through all the bumps and scrapes and potholes along the way.
That's right. And even with coaching, I think it's really important to note that the client, the coachee, has to do the work, right? So you can show up to a coaching session, for whatever your duration is, an hour a month or what have you. But if you're not willing to do the work, it's only so effective, right? And so leadership, I'm making it sound fun and I enjoy it. I love it. It's a passion, but it's hard and it can be really hard at times, right? And that's where, having a coach or a mentor or both, a sounding board even, it really helps you just take a minute and refocus and recalibrate.
I love that. And I think I'm going to jump in and agree with you that for people who are listening who may or may not have the benefit of a coach, even if you have someone around you that you can kind of work through some of these things, talk about some of these things, like-minded people facing the same sorts of challenges, opportunities, issues, etc., even that can help someone feel less alone in the work that they have to do. I mean, I don't know whether you have this experience, but I certainly do, Jeff, of being the one in the office trying to figure it out on my own with a feeling like and a thought like there was no one else that I could call to help me.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
And I
yeah.
think,
And
yeah,
that's huge. And like you say, if you don't have the resources for a coach, there's always a mentor available, right? This is the beauty of social media, things like LinkedIn. You can reach out to a second contact or a stranger if you need to that you admire or what have you. And lots of folks are very, very, very keen to mentor. And, that's another great option. You just have to realize, like I said, I always wanted to be a leader. That was my dream. I wanted to be a business leader. And when I got to that point, I quickly realized just because you want to do something and you're excited about it doesn't mean you're necessarily great at it. And I want it to be great. Right. And so you have to put in
mm,
the work, just like anything else.
I love that, and you are 100% correct on putting in the work. And I would also say that putting in the work might look differently depending on where you are, like the stages, what you needed at the beginning of your journey versus what you might need now versus what you might need in 3 to 5 years. It's going to be different.
Absolutely. I mean, like when I started, like I said, it was, almost like drinking from a fire hose because I was so keen to impress and be that guy. So at the beginning of my journey, leadership and coaching was really just all about, okay, bite-sized chews here, right? Like break it down. Let's take it, an interaction at a time almost, right? And then it moved into, okay, now I'm comfortable in my own skin as a leader. I've got, my team rallied around me. Now, how do I implement, the next level that I want to take my team to? And then it morphed into the next phase, which was, now I'm at a crossroads. Do I really want to lateral into the unknown or should I stay in my lane, in my comfort zone, right? There's always something new to work through, right? And that's
Absolutely.
it's a journey right till you're the retiring CEO or whatever the summit you want to get to, right? It's a journey all the way.
I love it. And I'm curious about something. So, as you face those forks in the road in the future, is there anything that you would say you could rely on from what you've learned so far in those moments to help you decide?
So I I'm going to go back to our acronym of the day, right? The whole get up model. You can apply that as a leader at you should almost apply it at every single level and every single role because that's how you learn and how you earn the trust and respect of others, right? It's by not just sitting behind a desk and hammering out an email, right? That's just not good enough. And that's not what stakeholders expect of you as a leader, right? You're the face of
Yeah.
your department. You're the face of your organization, whatever level you're at. And it's just it's really grounding, right? To
No,
to think back about why
absolutely.
you are here and get out there and learn from others.
I think I might have shared this story with you once before where, I mean, I worked for a leader who used to say to people, like, he would go around and have lead, like, get up and like bang on the doors of leaders
Mm.
and say, like, you cannot lead from behind a screen, folks. out.
Right.
Like literally,
Right.
it was kind of militant, right? But it was kind of like out, go out and be with the people, go see what they need, how you can help them solve their problems. So I really, the acronym resonates with me, and I think people will find that really valuable information to have.
Great.
What?
Like I say, if every leader can get up, even put it in your calendar, right? Just make that commitment. Tuesdays
Yeah,
and Thursdays at 10 a.m. I'm going to get up and go see somebody, right? Or go see this group. It's simple, but it's
making.
also scary.
So it sounds like it's making your structure work for you, right? And I would be curious, what advice would you give for people when they feel like, I don't know the people that I'm about to go interact with? What would you say to those folks?
So, my industry for sure, and every industry is different, but at the same time, people are still people, right?
Mm,
My industry was quite intimidating for, somebody that was in a corporate role to go out into a plant environment with, mechanics, walk into a mechanical shop and 20 people look at you like, what the heck are you doing here, right? So it takes courage. I'm not going to say it's easy, but you get up, then the E is engaged. If you just walk in and say, I remember the feeling, it almost gives me goosebumps. Oh, hi guys. My name's Jeff. I'm from finance. Just want to come in and say hi and see what you do. And all of a sudden, they're showing you their tooling improvements. They're talking to you about why the heck didn't I get funding for this yet? Like people really want to share. There's a study that when somebody's asked to talk about themselves, the dopamine response is almost stronger than like a drug. And
mm,
so if you walk in and engage with folks in a genuine way and just say, hey, tell me about what you do, I'm just interested, and no hidden agenda, it actually triggers, boom, a dopamine response.
love
It's
that.
fascinating. Yeah, I'll send you the article, Cynthia. I
Yes,
think it's
please.
the
And we'll
Harvard
link it
Business
up.
Review or something. There you go.
I'm wondering about, so when you think about your journey so far, what from a coaching perspective, I guess, what would you tell them about coaching? I know you've talked a little bit about, you have to be prepared to do the work.
Right. The
What else would
other,
be important for them to know?
so first of all, I think coaching is what you make of it, right? And that comes back to you have to do the work. You've also got to take as much as you can work to take the barriers down and be transparent and honest. Because if you're not, the coaching is going to be ineffective, right? It's going to be coaching you on if you just try to paint everything as the sky is blue, or not the sky is blue, but the sky is rosy, or whatever the word the term is, right? Everything's rosy. First of all, your coach is going to see right through it, and they're going to tease it out of you anyway. Cynthia's good at that. But you just try to go in and be transparent, open, and honest, and willing to almost let yourself go there and discover, because coaching isn't mentoring, right? It's not like,
Mhm.
when I'm working with Cynthia, she's not telling me what to do. She's asking the questions that help me get to what I need to do. And it's so much more impactful in a way, but it's not like you're just being told what to do. So you've got to be willing to really open up and be honest with yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always fascinating to me how many people do want a coach to give them the answer.
Yep, I did.
And well,
It
we
used
I
to
think
drive
we
me nuts, right?
I think as a human, that's what we want. That's what we think we want. But until we
Right.
realize that the the power comes from within, and the way that you can choose and decide for yourself just builds not only the awareness to what you're learning in the moment, but also the choices that you can make. And then it gives you, or at least this is my experience, it gives you the agency to have more confidence in yourself, to be able to get up and go engage with other people. right?
That's
You're
right.
actually building it. And I think what maybe people don't always know is that from the moment you engage from a position of confidentiality and trust, that you're actually building that in you.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like you're training a new muscle, right? I
Yeah.
go for golf lessons, and if my golf teacher hits the ball for me, my shot's going to be a heck of a lot better, but doesn't help, right? So he's going to teach me how to hit the darn ball. We're getting there,
I
Cynthia,
love
but
it.
that's for
I love it. I
another
love it. I
podcast,
love
another day.
it.
Uh, the other thing here with coaching that's just so I guess impactful is show up, right? And this once again, it's human nature. We're busy. Sometimes we're tired. We're just not feeling it. What I would say, typically our sessions are an hour. There's some times where it's like minute 53, and it took me 53 minutes to get into it. And then I go, holy swear word, Cynthia, I just had my aha moment. Sometimes I have my aha at 20 minutes, and the extra 40 are a little different, but sometimes it takes 52 minutes to get to that aha, but it'll come, right? So show up, just go for it, and
Mm.
and and you'll get something out of every session, that's for sure.
I love it. I love it. I will just self-identify. I'm having a little bit of a hard time. I'm restraining myself today from going into coach mode and wanting to be
I love it.
fully in interview mode. But I love what you're saying. And I think, you know, from a life perspective, like who you are as a human, how are you different? How is your life different as a result of not only being a leader, but also a leader who's had the support of coaches along the way? And I know you've had more than just me as a coach, but just the experience overall. How are you different?
So there's a couple things. I'll get into like the specifics, but just more generally, once again, I think it's like training a mental muscle. And so the coaching that I've received over the last 5 years, yeah, more than five now, isn't it? But anyway, the
Yes, it
coaching
is.
I've received has really helped me train myself to not be triggered by things that used to trigger me. And so, I've learned that when it feels like I'm drinking from a fire hose because I'm in it, right? I'm in it. Just take a second, step back, think about what makes me good. Like just take a breath. Think about what makes me good and why I'm in this position of leadership and why senior leadership has trusted me with solving whatever this problem is, and then get back into it. Those are kind of things where I would have just been spinning, right? But just that's a mental muscle that said, take a chill pill for a second. Okay, now go. Right? That's big. The other one I love, and this is maybe very specific to me, but I think it'll resonate. One of the things that used to drive me reeling was FOMO, fear of missing out, right? We talked a lot about this for a lot of time. And I'd have made a decision to go left, and I'd spend half my journey on the way left worrying about whether I should have gone right because I might have missed an opportunity to the right. Um, and so FOMO, fear of missing out, it's just another one of those things where, after some pretty solid work with you, I've learned to make a decision and then go with it and trust my gut, trust
Mm.
my trust myself, right? Trust my abilities to go with it
Yeah.
and move on, move forward. Don't be looking over my right shoulder.
Well, so there's a couple of things I want to say in return to what you've just shared, and it's interesting because as a human, like I mean, just from an analogy perspective, if you think about when we're driving our cars, and I know we use a lot of metaphor in our coaching, but when we're driving in the car, and if we're really truly focused on the road ahead, a glance in the rear view is okay.
Sure,
But if you look there too long,
you
you're
got it.
all of a sudden you're not on the same path that you're on, right? And I want to go back to something that you said about, when you're in that position of reeling, one of the things that I now use in my coaching practice is, and we talked about a little bit at the end of our coaching, but is around this like positive intelligence. And so just being able to calm your central nervous system through breath work, taking that, that's all it takes. 1, 2 breaths, just to kind of calm yourself to then decide, okay, what's the next best thing that I can do? Right.
That's
And I think
exactly it.
it's, yeah. And I think what I've come to learn since our work together is when we have those challenges and when you go back in the work world and you face them, even after this call, is to think about, bringing your brain to the gym for its mental fitness, just like you bring your muscles when you go for a run, right? It's the same sort of thing to be thinking of, instead of thinking of things as a challenge, which sometimes we see that way, but what's the possibility as a result of me dealing with this challenging circumstance or challenging person? What could I learn about myself, about them, especially employing some of your get up model? What could I learn that could be even better than what I thought I was starting with?
That's bang on. And once again, analogy, but like you said, for folks listening here that are leaders, business leaders, Tiger Woods has a coach, Connor McDavid has a coach, right? They're the best in the business at what they do, and that's physical, but they have coaches. So it only makes sense that a leader would want a coach as well, right? Or at least try it out. It's
Yeah,
it's it's powerful.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if people don't have access to it, there are tons of podcasts, I think, exactly like this one where people can go and
Absolutely.
find what they need. Jeff, I'm curious for you as we kind of wrap this up. Like, what do you think what's next for you? What's your next big dream?
Interesting. My next big dream is, and I'm just on the I've just started this journey really is that full transition to a leader in the broader sense, not a finance leader, but a leader.
Mm,
And it's really fun because as you continue to stretch yourself, what I'm finding is the foundation that you lay through your career, you can pull from every single step in the journey, whether you've been knocked down and got back up, or whether you're really good at financial analysis. That's you're always going to be good at it, and you can pull that into now as I'm on the nuclear side of the business as a leader. Guess what? Being a good leader helps you no matter where you are, right? And so I'm just excited for the future and to continue to grow and challenge myself and have fun along the way. I think that's the key for me is I always just want to enjoy it and try to brighten people's day as I lead them.
I love that so much. And I think it's, as we think about going out and touching the hearts and minds of people now more than ever today, because we have all seen what's happening within the workforce and the world is restructuring and layoffs going on multiple places. And I think it's to think about, how can we not only keep ourselves thinking about what's positive and optimistic for us, but to keep moving forward. And I think what I would invite or just get an invitation I would give to you is to think about as you continue your journey, when you achieve certain milestones, it's to be just pause and check in and think about what do I want to take with me in this next iteration of me, and what might I want to leave behind.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
really
love that.
important to just take a minute every next step along your journey to reflect. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I think how I would say that relates for me is I also have a coach and I'm working with her, and we're going to meet in early March. And just thinking about in preparation for that, what are the, and I'm going to use the air quotes. So, what are the old stories I want to leave here, and what new ones do I want to create when I'm there? So, and I think that's applicable for anyone as they listen.
Absolutely.
So, Jeff, any final words or final things that you would like to talk about or share with people?
I'll tell you, people, you need to get up. Leaders need to get up.
You heard it here first. Leaders need to get up.
That's right. If you're listening to this podcast, you may be driving, stay down, stay seated till you're done. Then get up and go engage with your workforce, with the people that work for you, the people you work with, the people you want to learn from, and the sky's the limit.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. So much. Jeff, I want to just thank you so much for your time, for your energy, for your enthusiasm, for who you are as a leader, and being able to share this with not only me, but also with anybody that's listening. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening. Your feedback is a gift. Please rate and review with your honest opinion. Subscribe and share with your colleagues, especially if you've worked with me and found value in the work we've done together. Connect with me in my favorite places, LinkedIn and Instagram. My website is Cynthia Jamieson Coach, all lowercase, all one word, .ca. Until next time, make it a great week.